Special thanks to the Christian Children's Home of Ohio for sponsoring the third place. For more information, go to ccho.org. That's ccho.org.
Christian Children's Home of Ohio provides a safe environment where children can find healing, discover hope, and experience unconditional love through certified trauma therapies designed to meet the needs of each child. Our 165-acre Worcester campus includes 4 cottages that are home to as many as 46 at-risk youth whose lives have been turned upside down by abuse, neglect, and trauma. We focus on helping residents build skills to live productive lives and reintegrate back into the community.
This is the Third Place Podcast. I'm Brian Dolan. Right over there, Lauren Cuevas.
Home is your first place, work is your second place, and this is your third place, where the Christian community in Northeast Ohio gathers.
Thanks to all of you for your ongoing support. Today is going to be one of your favorites. We're going to hear from Dave Szafranski, president and founder of Edgewater Investment Group. And you actually asked me a question about the recording because you couldn't join us, which we can explain in a moment. But you were like, who's that other guy?
Yeah, I was watching the video of you guys and I could see Dave fully, but then I just saw like some shoes and like a leg of another person kind of off camera. And I was like, who is that?
That's David's son, Josh. He's a great guy. And he's just like, I don't want to be in this. So, but he sat on the couch. So why not?
That's so funny.
So he's kind of in it. And you were gone.
Yes.
Because you're starting a new job and you've got it takes a lot of time to onboard.
Yeah. For the last 2 weeks, I have been onboarding in my new job at the city mission. And so I've been going in person into Cleveland for the full 2 weeks. So it's just long days. I leave Cuyahoga Falls at like 8. I don't get back until 5. So it's just long days and I didn't really have time or capacity to be doing in person or really video recordings with our guests. And it was a pretty rough transition for my family. Kind of still is because it's just all
it's a lot.
In flux. This meant that they were in all-day daycare. They used to be in half-day. So it's just lots of big changes, and I wasn't willing to disrupt it any more than it was already disrupted. So,
but as you'll see, we kept her chair vacant and actually talked to her a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that.
So you'll enjoy that. Now, before we get to that conversation, there is something you and I haven't publicly discussed a whole lot yet, and it was my first time being laid off.
Mine too.
Yours too?
Uh-huh.
And so we thought it would be good to share a little bit of our experience with that. Although I'll say out of the gate, I was at Moody Bible Institute as an employee for 17 years, and I'm grateful to the Lord for those 17 years. Mm-hmm. This is just more of a conversation from our experience. Now,
this is not a conversation about Moody Bible Institute. It's about our experience being laid off from a job, no matter where that is.
Yeah, so we found out we were going to be losing our jobs, and what happens inside Lauren Cuevas' soul? Because everyone's like, wow, this is a girl boss. Like when my daughters first met you, they're like equal parts. I want to be just like her, and I'm deathly afraid of her. and you, I mean, you're a lot of fun, but you seem to have it all put together. And so somebody might think she'd be like, no, it's fine.
No, it was not fine. We were having our meeting where we were being told that we were laid off. And as soon as the words were said, I texted my husband. I said, I lost my job.
Was that hard to send that?
We had some feelings that this might be happening. And so we had been having pre-conversations about it. But this was the first definitive, yes, it is. This is for real. And so emotionally, we were like prepared that this might be happening. But then this was like, oh, it really is. Oh, it's like for real now. Mm-hmm. It wasn't hard to send the text because in that moment it just kind of felt informative. I think what was worse for me afterwards was like the influx of like people coming to all of us.
Yeah.
Not only like our other colleagues, a lot of other colleagues from Moody Bible Institute, because obviously it wasn't just us, it was many, many of us. And so everyone wanting to connect, all of our guests, all of our friends around from the show, all of them finding out. That I think was like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. I'd say for probably 2 weeks, it was an onslaught and nonstop people reaching out to us.
Oh, the first 3 days, like I I could not keep up. Every
No.
time I'd look at my phone, I'd have 20 to 30 text
Yeah.
messages. And then I would
Emails,
clear them out
messages.
and emails. And then I would pause and come back a few minutes later and it'd be back filled up again.
Yes.
And that was a lot. And you know, oh, boo-hoo, we had a chance to have a job in public. That's one of the things that goes with it, I suppose. But it is one of the oddities of being laid off when you're in a public position is that your layoff is also public. And so, like, if John Doe loses his job or Jane Doe, they kind of go home and tell their spouse. And it's like, oh, man, and their colleagues hear. Us, it's like, attention world. Hello, everyone. Lauren is laid off. Yeah. And it's just it's a lot.
Yeah.
What was your drive home like that day? Do you remember that, or was that not when it hit you?
If I recall, normally I'm like, there was always something playing in my car, whether it's an audiobook, a podcast, music, and I'm pretty sure it was a silent car drive home. I don't think I had anything playing, and I just was letting myself be with my thoughts.
Were you spiraling, would you say, at that point, or were you just kind of like processing?
I think I was just processing still.
What were the layers of processing like for you? Because we haven't really talked about this,
No, we
just the
haven't.
two of us. So, like, what are you starting to think? So you find out you're losing your job, you start getting all the text messages, you're driving home, you're at home. What are you thinking?
Really, for a long time, it was, why did God let this happen to us? We left Chicago a year and a half ago
Yeah.
for this job. And so we left all of our family. We bought a house. We had not a really hard time, but a regular hard time building community here, finding friends, finding people we can rely on, people to watch our kids if we needed, I don't know, time just for me and my husband. And it was like, okay, we're just starting to like make friendships and have a small group and we're regularly attending this church and we're a part of it and we're serving and all this other stuff. And I was like, well, then why did we move here if I don't have a job? We moved here for this job.
Yeah, for your job. Yeah.
Exactly, for my job. And also not only just because I wanted this job, but also the schedule was really ideal for the family life that we wanted.
Yes.
I wanted more time with my kids, but we couldn't afford for me to have a part-time job because my husband also works in nonprofit ministry. And so it was hard to find something that was going to be flexible enough for me to have as much time as possible with my kids and also still be able to live. And so it was like, okay, but we were really sure that this is what you called us to. We were really sure that you told us to move here and to take this job, and now you've taken that away. And so I think that's what it was for both me and my husband for a long time. And I don't want to speak for him, but I think also for my husband, there was he still works at Moody Bible Institute. And so he's kind of like,
Yeah, that's a
I have
tough
some
spot.
I feel bad. My wife just got laid off from this company, but I still work at this company. So I think he's had some, like, I don't really know how to feel.
So somebody might say, wow, you graduated from Moody, so you're in a different category of spiritually mature. You're just like totally put together. So you must have within a few hours been like, oh, well, nope, God's sovereign, so I'm good now. Anyway, next.
Yeah, so it was like the afternoon I got home, I picked up my kids like I usually did. Came from the station, picked up my kids on the way home, took them home. And I just spent the afternoon like replying to texts and kind of not spiraling, but just like I was really not available emotionally or really physically for my family. And my stomach started to hurt, and I was feeling like I was getting like really hot and just like kind of dizzy. And I had to like sit down a couple times, and I said to my husband, it was about time to make dinner. I said to my husband, I was like, I need to go like just like take a shower and just spend some time alone. I'm not feeling good. I don't really know what's going on. I feel like I can't breathe very well. I'm not feeling great. And he was like, okay, I'll just like order dinner for us. Like, don't like take your time. And so I spent some time by myself. I took a shower just to like calm my body down.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted my two best friends as this was happening. And my friend texted back, Lori, you're having a panic attack. That's what that is. It's like you're having a panic attack is their physical body responding to the stress that you've been put under.
Yeah.
And like a day's worth of people wanting to talk to you about you being laid off work. So that happened. And probably the next day there's a little bit like some of that still. I mean, the next day we had to then tell all of our listeners that we were laid off. So
Yeah.
it was kind of a long drawn out process. But that first day was probably the biggest part for me, where that was like an emotional release. And then after that, I think I slowly started to say, okay, there can be good here. There's going to be something here that's for good. I don't know what that is yet. But I can see it.
I appreciate your honesty in that too, because I think some people falsely believe spiritual maturity is when bad things happen, you're joyful.
Yeah.
Like, God is good. This is on purpose. It's going to work together all things work together for the good of those who love. I love him, so I'm good. No. You can be mad at him. You can tell him you're mad. You can ask him why he made you move.
Yeah.
And you can feel all those feelings and God's not mad at you and you're not sinning.
Yeah. I remember standing in the kitchen. I don't know if it was that same, I think it was that same day, maybe that afternoon. My husband was washing dishes and I just like stood there and I was like slowly like just like processing whatever was coming to mind. And one of the first things I said was like, well, what about like Ron and Mike? What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Because they were part-time. Ron has another job. Mike has other things. And so I was like, oh my gosh, what about Ron and Mike? Was like one of my first things. Because I knew that me, you, Daria, Kelly, Josh would find something. Mm-hmm. But Ron and Mike have been in radio so long. I was like, oh my gosh. And I just kind of went through that process for like each person. Like, oh my gosh, Daria, she's pregnant. And she's trying to find a job. I was like, oh my gosh, Brian, he has 5 kids. And just went through like that process for all of my friends and colleagues who are experiencing the same thing as me.
Yeah, no, I can relate to that. And at the same time, this was born out of that experience.
Yeah.
And we don't know yet exactly what God will do with this, but you and I certainly wouldn't have done this.
No.
Were we still in the midst of that full-time radio ministry.
What was it like for you?
I spent a lot of years chasing a dream, right? Okay, so one of my dreams that I had when I first experienced radio years and years ago, almost 20 years ago, was like being on the air. I was like, this is going to be it. This is what I want to do. I'm going to work towards it. And so in 2015, when we moved to Ohio and I had a full-time job on the air, I was like, I've done it. Mm-hmm. And it took years of processing to realize how take this right, how disappointing it is to achieve a dream.
Sure. I mean, celebrities say that all the time.
Yeah.
They would chase to be like a movie star, and then they're like, oh, it's actually pretty lonely being famous. Oh, it's actually pretty, you have all these people talking to you, you have paparazzi, all this stuff. People like, celebrities talk about it all the time.
When I was in my late 30s going like, awesome. So now I've peaked?
Right.
In my late 30s? Mm-hmm. What is this? And so I had to do the hard spiritual work over the last decade of figuring out what it truly means to have your identity in Christ. Mm-hmm. And so I had, like, my counselor told me in the midst of discussing my feelings after being laid off, said, Brian, if this would have been a couple of years ago, you would be spiraling right now.
Oh, yeah.
I would have been absolutely spiraling.
I'd even say a year ago you would have been
maybe, yeah,
different.
But I think, thankfully, I've been intentionally trying to go through the process of spiritual formation and grow in my relationship and trust in Christ, so that I wouldn't spiral. Mm-hmm. All that to say, though, it was a whirlwind. It was difficult to describe how overwhelming it was. My wife kind of saw this almost immediately. Yeah. Like, I got home after being laid off, and she's like, Brian, I think God's doing something here. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. I'm sure he is, but I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
And the next day she'd say, Brian, I'm serious. I think there's something happening here. I think I see an opportunity for you and Lauren. And then
I probably started like 3 days after she did.
Yeah. And I was to both of you like, stop it. Like, I need to finish this. Like, I felt a lot of pressure to figure out how, and you felt a lot of pressure, how are we going to finish in a way that honors the Lord? Mm-hmm. And that doesn't compromise our ministry life. And God made it pretty clear how we would finish. And I feel really good about how we finished. But I wasn't able to do much processing because I was so overwhelmed with how are we going to do this? I remember it was like 10 at night, which is, for someone in our schedule, that's like 1 a.m. Yeah. I'm sitting there figuring out my goodbyes, I want to say.
Yeah, once we found out, it was, okay, how do we fill 9 hours? of this.
Yeah. And then how do we finish? And I just wasn't ready for all that. And then it just so happened that we signed off on a Friday, and that's the day that my parents and my in-laws showed up for my son's graduation weekend. My oldest son graduated from high school the next day. And so I felt horrible that I was laid off immediately before my son's high school graduation because I didn't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
But I saw God's grace in the fact that of all my kids, he's the one who cares the least about the idea of graduating from high school. He's like, whatever. So he wasn't all that worried about it. But I, as soon as I got home, I started to fall apart physically. I got sick. Like we went to his graduation lunch the next day, and we're sitting at the table, and I'm like smelling food, and I'm like, nope. So we went to Blazing Bill's. There's this barbecue place where we all went out to lunch, and right after everybody's order got taken and appetizers showed up, I just excused myself and went outside, and I literally started puking in the woods outside of Blazing Bill's. And it wasn't that at first I was like, oh my gosh, how horrible, I got a stomach bug. No, I didn't.
No.
This was my body physically reacting to the trauma of what was going on. And so that night, I sat by myself outside of the stands, right by the bathroom, watching my son graduate from high school because I didn't know if I was going to make it, but I had to be there.
Yeah.
And he was really gracious about it. My wife was so supportive. But it took me probably, 4 or 5 days to feel physically okay again. And that's just how my body processes stress. Is I have a psychosomatic response. I have a physical response to stress. And I slowly came around to hearing what my wife had to say, hearing what you had to say, and then trying to rebuild some things. But it took me a couple of weeks to just kind of like stop spinning.
Yeah.
But I will say in the midst of it, I felt very solid spiritually. I didn't do much, oh no, God, why me stuff. I felt like I was in a place where God was asking me, do you believe I'm sovereign?
Yeah.
And I felt like just our ministry together had gotten to the point where we had talked about that a lot. And I just said it right away. I was like, I believe he's sovereign. And this is my chance to show the Lord that I do trust him. And so I've had no doubt that he's sovereign, even in the midst of not knowing exactly what's next. But you know that you and Sarah and everyone had to kind of carry this whimpering pile of goo around for a while until we started to kind of figure things out. But I will say, I think too, you can always see God's hand in hindsight.
Yes.
And I can see how he laid the groundwork for all of this that we're doing right now for a long time before this. Like you and I formed Stained Glass Media at least a year.
It was March of 2024.
Yeah, over a year before we got laid off.
February, maybe. Yeah.
And our attorney advised us to do it. We're working on a really cool project that you can get a sneak preview of on our website called 40 to Life. But I mean, we didn't have to start a company.
No.
Like it really wasn't all that necessary.
No.
And we laughed because when we filed our taxes, we had exactly $0
That's right.
in revenue and probably some dollars in expenses.
Yeah. Lots of dollars in expenses.
And I can see now why the Lord had us do that a year in advance. A year in advance, you and I, as a company, took over Stages of the Soul podcast I do with Nancy Kane, and you forced me to learn how to do video podcasting. Like I was just like, I don't want to learn how to do that, blah, blah, blah. And this software we use every day was, not every day, but almost every day. I knew how to do it.
Yeah.
Because you forced me to do it a year before. And I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
We had a number of things that the Lord prepared us for where I felt like we were ready. And you and my working relationship, like I was grieving it initially, like, oh no, like I finally get to work with a best friend and then God takes it away. Like I felt like we were like just gelling in our complementary gifts and like, oh great. Thanks a lot, God. I was like mad at him about that. Yeah. And I actually thought you ditched me for a little while. Remember you got really mad at me on text?
Oh yeah.
You're like, hey, guess what? I got a job. I'm like, great, see ya.
I know, you're so rude to me.
I was sad.
I literally said, stop acting like I've ditched you. I have not. Number one, I don't have as long as severance as you do. Number two, I have to provide for my family. I can't sit around.
And you're like, I'm not ditching you. And you did your, what is that thing you do?
I'm not ditching you.
Yeah. And then I believed it over time when she proved it to me.
Yeah.
But God is doing something. And while I'm sad that phase of my career is over,
Yeah.
this is the other thing that this did for Sarah and me. The phrase we've been using is we've both come at different points to the realization that we don't want to live to work. We want to work
Yeah.
to live.
Absolutely.
And I spent many years trying to place my identity in my work and pushing way too hard for that and not actually living. And her and I just don't care about, like, we're not worried about figuring out the income thing at this point because we trust that God will show us exactly how this is going to work. And we have a little time to figure it out. But we don't want to chase the American dream.
Yeah.
We're happy where we are.
Yeah.
And I think you and Eddie are, that God's doing something similar for you.
Yeah.
You're not interested in placing your life in your work.
No. I mean, we had conversations, me, you, and Josh, for many years of like, you are replaceable at work. You're replaceable.
We are. We were.
And we were.
By a great God, by the way.
But we talked about that a lot before we knew we were getting laid off is we're replaceable here. I'm not going to spend all of myself here where I am worthless at home because I'm replaceable at work. They would, okay, I'd give examples of like, okay, if I, left or if you guys fired me or something, you would be sad, everyone would be sad, but within a couple of days, you would be posting my job description because someone has to do the work.
And everyone's job is that way,
Everybody's
whether or
job
not
is
we
that
want
way.
to believe it.
Yes. And so, yeah, you guys love me as a person and we love working together, but my work is replaceable, but I'm not replaceable at home. And so we had conversations all the time of, I'm not going to like overextend myself here. I'm not going to let my work come home with me and change my emotions at home and affect how I interact with my kids because I'm replaceable at work. And I don't really care because I'm replaceable at work, but I'm not replaceable at home. And so we had those conversations for a year or two before this happened. And I think that helped, at least it helped me, of saying like, okay, yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to overextend myself here at work where I can't be at home.
And that's where I think we unintentionally discovered what it means to work heartily as if you're working for the Lord. Like, the Lord wants us all to work. Work is good.
Yeah.
Wants us to work hard, but we're not working hard for ourselves and our own reputation and our own wealth. We're working because that's part of what God wants us to do, to give him glory.
Yeah.
And I think slowly, without us even trying, the Lord was like slapping us gently into like that mindset to prepare us to be let go.
Yep.
And it's funny to me that it took me 46 years to be laid off for the first time.
Yeah.
But now I'm in that club, and I feel like I feel like the Lord will give me a chance to use that, and I know He will for you too.
Yeah.
Because it's a thing. If you've been laid off, it's a thing.
Yeah, I was had a meeting yesterday. We're looking at getting a CRM software. Okay, I was meeting with this lady, and she was just like, "Oh, it's like tell me whatever." And so I was just telling her, and she was like, "Ugh, yeah, I've been laid off so many times." This is a random lady. I like a software meeting.
And so many people have I've been laid off this many times, that many times. I talked to a friend in radio. I'm like, gosh, you must think I'm a weirdo if I'm only been laid off once. And he laughed. He goes, yeah, you don't know how many times I've been laid off.
Right.
And so in that perspective, what a blessing that I was able to work 17 years for the same radio organization. So I'm grateful to God for that.
Yeah.
Before we get on to Dave Szafranski today.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing your heart on that. I know we sometimes do silly things, but we're also serious people. And we hope that touches somebody in terms of the struggle they're going through, or to honestly help prepare your heart.
Yeah.
Whether or not you get laid off, at some point you're going to stop working. And I think some people get hit like a ton of bricks by retirement because they haven't processed through who they are in Christ above who they are at their work.
Yeah.
So if you want more content, we have lots of different things to offer you, but some of it's subscription based.
Yes. So if you love the show, become a Patreon monthly member and you get to unlock free, ad free episodes. Okay. Behind the scenes content, the More Run moment. Daria sends us little video updates, what's going on in her life, and pause for prayer. Head over to patreon.com/thethirdplacepodcast, or it'll be in the description. That's patreon.com/thethirdplacepodcast. And subscribe and become a little Patreon member. You can chat with us, leave comments, talk with other Patreon members.
And someday we'll do some of the live things you can do on Patreon, but we're just getting our little feet on the ground.
That's right.
In my case, my awkward, really ugly, long, big, skinny feet.
Okay, I don't need to know about your feet, really.
I have gross as toes too, by the way. Nasty. Anyway,
Oh my, that is so.
like my pinky is this.
No.
No?
No, I don't need to know.
Okay, she doesn't want to know.
I don't know about your feet.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Christian Children's Home of Ohio. Boy, we love them. They've been one of our earliest supporters, and Christian Children's Home of Ohio is sponsoring today's episode. You know, Lauren and I, we want to be sure to thank them because imagine, if you will, a child who's never had a stable home, now sleeping safely, receiving therapy, and hearing that they're loved and valuable. That transformation is exactly what Christian Children's Home of Ohio is all about. With over 50 years of experience, they provide safe spaces for healing and growth through the love of Christ. I went to visit there, and I had in my mind what it was going to be. And when I went there, it was like a bajillion times better. They have equine therapy. They have this like obstacle course. They have beautiful homes for children who've experienced trauma to live through, facilities for food, and they have a gymnasium. It's just beautiful. And it's on this huge multi-acre, like 160 some acre property. Just gorgeous. To read more stories about real life impact or learn how you can support the great work they're doing to help kids in Ohio, go to ccho.org, ccho.org. All right, here is the empty chair and my conversation with David Szafranski. This is the Third Place podcast. You will not believe it. The guy is here, the man, the myth, the legend. You thought it was over. Oh, no, it's not over. David Szafranski, president and founder of Edgewater Investment Group.
It's not over till I say it's over.
And you brought your son. You should kind of lean into the camera here and tell. Yes, it's Josh Szafranski.
Josh works with me. He's part of the firm, and so he
does chores, I'm sure.
Well, as you know.
The dishwasher. Wow.
Everybody has chores at my office, except for me.
Of course, yeah. Yours is more because I did that video for a new show where you were asleep on the couch.
On the couch.
That was staged.
I wasn't really asleep that day. Not that I'm never not asleep on the couch. You know, Einstein took naps every single day. He did all right.
So did I. I mean, I'm a nap enthusiast, as you know.
Yes.
So now, first, we're going to obviously do some financial discussions, but first impressions. Now you're in the studio.
Yeah.
How do we feel?
I like it. It's comfortable. Yeah, and you have a couch that you could nap on, which I think is critical to the success of any office. Is a place where the boss can sleep, and I know. You know, you told me earlier that you are the boss of Lauren.
I never said such a don't you get me in trouble. Yeah, because this is her chair. Like, we have this up and just for her. I guess we have to explain that probably, right?
You should get a cardboard cutout of Lauren for when she's not here, and you could put it there.
Right.
And we can have her say things that you wouldn't normally say.
When I have this little sound pad here, so I can...
Make her say something.
I can make her... I don't have anything of her in here yet, but I just played a rim shot. You didn't hear it, but it was very funny. What I was saying. So I did a rim shot. Okay. So why is she not here? People might be like, what's Lauren's problem? Is she scared of Dave?
She is. She's not. She's not.
No, look at you. You won't say it either. No, she's not at all. She started her new job at City Mission, and so her schedule's pretty intense as she does what they call in the business world onboarding, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Isn't that what they call it?
Yeah, 401k, healthcare plan.
Like, where's the bathroom?
Company policy.
Yeah.
Parking spot, like hierarchy.
Right. Mm-hmm. So she's not with us today, but she will be for future conversations, Lord willing, as they say. So
if you're a Christian, you must say that.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, because otherwise you don't trust God.
Yeah. So now, is it a comfortable couch, guys? You feel good about it?
It is comfortable.
It's pretty comfortable. Yeah.
Did you garbage pick it or did you buy it?
Oh, no, I was no part of that. I was a part of the equipment. Lauren, I compelled her to pick out couches and stuff. She ordered that off of
Wayfair.
Wayfair, I believe.
Yeah.
But I think the chair was Amazon. And Sarah saw it, and Sarah goes, oh, she got kind of a throne. And she saw, and I was like, I told Lauren she ought to get a throne. And this is her kind of abstract, avant-garde throne.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a welcome addition.
Now, we did get a question for today, even though, we didn't advertise a lot that you were going to be on. Mm-hmm. So are you ready for the question?
Yeah. I think most people don't realize, too, that when we were on the air, I never saw the questions in advance.
No.
Like if you call Rob West or Dave Ramsey, they take your information. They call you back the next day or at a prescribed place. So they have all the answers. They've already researched. And by the way, I'm sure they're nice people. I don't want to denigrate anybody. Somebody is giving them those answers.
Oh, yeah.
And then they put it in their own words. There's nothing wrong with that. But we were always kind of on the fly. And so it's a little bit different.
Well, yeah, and I, as we were commiserating before we started, this is my first time being laid off. So, are we going to hug or anything? You're going to hold
Welcome
me?
to the club.
Are you?
I was telling you that, but when I was younger, and I was in construction, I kind of mouthed off to one of my bosses.
You?
Yes.
This is shocking.
And he turned around and he said, "What did you say?" And I, lacking wisdom, I repeated what I said. He then punched me in the face and fired me.
This was back in the olden days when you could punch people in the face at work and not suffer consequence for that.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
I'm not saying I didn't deserve getting punched in the face, but it did surprise me. I'm like, wow, I just got punched in the face.
And then he said you're fired?
And then he said I'm fired. Yeah, so.
Okay. Well, mine was a little different than that.
Nobody punched you in the face.
Nobody punched me in the face. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty rare. I mean, a lot of people get laid off in their careers, and so it was a bit odd for me to wait till 46 for that. But look at me. I'm back. I'm here.
Yeah, and I think especially in the media, a 10-year run, which you had, that's a long time in media.
No, it really is. Mm-hmm. It really is. It was a good run, I thought.
I did
Not
too.
that I was running, but figuratively, it was a good run of show.
Especially because when I first met you, you were kind of a jerk. So,
but I'm growing in sanctification.
You're totally different now. Totally different. You're so full of yourself when I first met you.
I thought it was pretty important.
Thanks for the coffee. We already got a guy. I don't even know why we're meeting.
Yeah, I mean, you insisted on meeting with me, David. So yeah. So here we are doing this again. It's fun. In future segments, we'll make sure that you all can ask your questions. You can submit them anytime you want, and we'll get them in. But we can talk finance. I know plops and
you paid attention over the years sometimes.
Yeah, and you want to get the HELOC, and you want to get the stepped up basis.
Stepped up basis, yeah.
You want that
on my website for the book. We're going to have a shirt that says "I heart stepped up basis."
That's great.
Yeah.
My wife had some nerdy thing in her corporate job on that, like I love EBITDA or something.
Earnings before income, taxes.
Yeah, Josh likes that one. So nerdy.
Depreciation, amortization.
She had a sticker on her computer that said that. I was like, what is that, you giant nerd? What does it mean?
It's an accounting term for it's your income before you take out all these things that affect your income. Before income, taxes, amortization, depreciation. Warren Buffett has a phrase for it, and I can't say it on your podcast, but it's pejorative.
Okay, well, I heart Jesus, Dave. So,
yes,
not
do.
EBITDA, whoever that is. I've never heard of that prophet. Yeah. Right after Habakkuk, huh? EBITDA?
It's more of like a Devil Wears Prada thing. That's what EBITDA is. So it's a way to make your books look better than what they are.
That doesn't sound right. It sounds like cooking the books, as they say.
Well, it's a generally...
Don't they say that, Josh?
It's been said before.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah, it's a generally accepted accounting practice. But generally, people who are buying companies, like actually buying the company, will say, I don't want to see that. I want to see the real numbers.
Oh, right.
You have to say it like they say it on CNBC, too. You got to say it really quick.
EBITDA.
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 You don't sound important if you don't say it like that.
EBITDA.
I don't ever say it.
Yeah.
I'm too busy praying without ceasing.
It's like CAGR. People will say CAGR, and like, can you just say compound annual growth rate? CAGR.
I will never say that. But I still think we got to talk about plop again at some point soon. It doesn't come up often enough. But okay, so the question we got, quote, will the economy ever be easier? Ugh.
Easier than what? It isn't.
I don't know.
It's pretty easy right now.
Ugh.
So I just taped my podcast this morning, and I entitled it
Nerd Party?
No, Nostradamski. Nostradamski.
The Polish Nostradamus.
Yes. Yeah, because I'm Polish.
And you're telling the future.
Well, I predicted a lot of the things that are going on right now. We had somebody email us a question that basically said, "You are right so much."
Did you write yourself?
Maybe. No, I didn't. So, but this year has been kind of extraordinary because I had predicted that most of the tariff talk, if not all of the tariff talk, would be over around June timeframe.
I remember you said that.
Yeah, and we would be talking about rate cuts and that we were probably going to bomb Iran, and the difference between something happening here militarily and something happening over there militarily is so different to the markets. The markets don't care about what happens overseas if we don't put troops on the ground. And if Dick Cheney and George Bush had been president when this happened, we would have amassed 1 million troops on a border someplace, and we would have gotten ready to be welcomed with flowers, as Dick Cheney said, which never happened. But I think they executed that operation as seamlessly as possible, with extremely narrow in its scope.
So we didn't see many economic consequences of that.
Actually, markets went up on the news. And so and the other thing that I predicted is that the second half of the year will be extremely positive, because even though who I like to call affectionately Chair Fowl, because he's going to be remembered as a political person. And that's unfortunate, because the chairman of the Federal Reserve, economically, there is no more important position in history than the chairman of the Federal Reserve of the United States of America. Such power is uncommon in the hand of a civilian. And yet here's a person who could change the market's directional heading with one ill-timed phrase. And we've seen it happen. Janet Yellen did it when somebody said, "Do you think biotech stocks are overvalued?" And she said, "Why, yes, I do." And that solved that problem that afternoon. Biotech stocks were no longer overvalued at 4 o'clock that afternoon. And so to be seen as a political operative in that position, I think diminishes the role. It diminishes his value economically, and it sheds a bad light on the Federal Reserve. I think, I do think there will be rate cuts in the second half. I think the economy is going to be strong into the end of the year. We're going to get a tax bill that's going to get passed in the next probably 12 hours. And these things are all really
Of the time we
positive.
recorded this, by the way, because we're not live anymore, Dave.
Yeah. Well, at the time
We'll see how right you are.
Nostradamski.
Now, Mr. Ski, if Lauren were here, she would push you really hard on one failed prediction. Mm-hmm. She's still paying 73% on her mortgage or whatever, 762%.
Right.
Interest rates on mortgages have not gone down as much as you thought.
This is part of the problem with the Federal Reserve, though, because they will not lower interest rates because of the tariff talk that's going on. But we have seen that inflation is indeed lower. The 10-year Treasury, as of the recording of this, is at about 4.2%. The Federal Reserve is at 4 3/4. So generally, they want to be matching the 10-year Treasury. They are purposefully not lowering rates because I think they're political, and I think that they're waiting for something to happen that isn't going to happen, and that is inflation from tariffs. It's not happening, and we saw this in the first Trump administration when he talked about tariffs. We were trying to create inflation and couldn't do it, and so I do think that rates are going to come down this year. Now,
to what?
Well,
you don't like using numbers specifically on that?
I don't mind doing that. I think that there's a possibility that they'll cut it at least 2 and maybe 3 times. And because of who's running the Fed right now, it's not going to be 50 basis point cuts. It's going to be they're going to be back to the incrementalism of the Fed, and they're going to go a 0.25 point 3 times this year. which will bring mortgage rates. Now, the Fed will tell you we don't control long-term interest rates. 30-year mortgage is a long-term interest rate, generally based off the 10-year Treasury. But it's odd that when the Fed lowers rates, mortgage rates go down. So the Fed is kind of trying to cushion the blow of rates not coming down as fast. But the minute the Fed lowers rates, mortgage rates are coming down. I think.
What do you hope it'll be at in a year?
I hope in a year from now.
Or how about 6 months? We'll back it up. 6 months.
Okay, 6 months from now, I hope that the 30-year mortgage rate will be 5.5%. And I think a year from now, it'll be 5 or 4.75%. And that's as low as we're going to go in this cycle. Unless there's an exogenous event.
Whoa. What was that?
An exogenous event?
Well, you're going to have to define that here for the
know,
peons like me listening.
The black swan thing that we just don't see coming, that is always kind of lurking in the background. It could be, 9/11 was an exogenous event.
Gotcha.
If you remember that morning, it was a sunny, bright morning. I had just gotten back from the gym, and I owned a house that had bugs. So we had the Terminex guy there, and I'm like, you got to come in here and sit down and watch this.
And wasn't it just your 50th birthday?
No.
No?
No.
I could have sworn it was. Sorry. 55th. I'm sorry.
It never ends. That's an exogenous event. And now there could be something economically. 2008, it wasn't. Going into September 15th of 2008, the markets were definitely trending downwards. But what happened on September 15th, I remember I was in Columbus on the Friday before this happened, and I'm listening to the radio, and somebody says, on Monday morning, who went bankrupt first? I forget now.
The Lehman Brothers?
Lehman Brothers.
Did you hear that? I totally knew that.
You did.
Thank you.
I didn't. She said on Monday morning, Lehman Brothers are going to declare bankruptcy. And my wife was with me. She was making me go shopping, buying something I didn't really want. And I said, that is so irresponsible to say that. Lehman Brothers is not going bankrupt on Monday. And Monday morning at 8:45, Lehman Brothers went bankrupt.
Wow.
And the Fed, or the government now, knows when something like that happens, you better kitchen sink it early. You throw everything you got. You go to your neighbor's house and throw some more stuff that they got at it. And that's what they did in the pandemic when we had the forced shutdown. They started writing checks right away. And that's how you kept away from a Great Depression in the pandemic, which I think had a greater capacity to cause a Great Depression than 2008 did.
So what's your rule of thumb for someone like Lauren who's, 6-7%? Well, she's at like 7. She said it on the air before.
Yeah, you got to be at least a point lower. But I would wait it out because I think you're going to get to 4.5. And certainly I would be overpaying my mortgage at 7%. You and I, Brian, we're basically financial geniuses.
Yeah, when you get a
we're in the
mortgage
twos.
for like, negative 6% or whatever we have. Just kidding. Yeah. It's like almost, mine's a little under 3, I think. Yours is lower than that.
2.65.
Wow. You should get that framed or something.
I want to keep it as long as I can because
yeah.
I beat that rate in a money market, including taxes.
Wow.
So net of taxes, I'm still winning. And my wife, who doesn't love debt as much as I love good debt, encourages me to pay it off faster. And I have to keep telling her, honey, do you remember what I do for a living? Could you just work with me on this a little bit? So, yeah, I would wait it out. I think sometime next year, you will be sub 5% in mortgages.
Lauren's going to hold you to that. So,
no, she's not the boss of me anymore. So she can remember the look she gave me when I asked her, like I gave her a chore to do in the studio and she just glared at me. I'm like,
yeah, you're going to get a glare when she sees this. And then she's going to save up a couple for when she's back on the throne here.
Poor Eddie.
So, yeah, poor guy.
Eddie. I don't know how he does it.
Who knows? They
no
live just
wonder
down
why
the
he's
street
so
here.
quiet. It's like, I'm afraid to say anything.
Yeah.
I might get the glare.
Have you been able to spend much time with Eddie yet?
I've never met him.
Oh, we're going to have to arrange that because they live like 3 blocks from this studio.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty
What are
exciting.
we going to do, like have a cookout?
It may be. Maybe we can have Eddie cook for us. I don't know that he cooks, though. That's the thing. Wait to see his garage. It's huge. But anyway, okay, so next question for you would be, you've got some families who have their first kid going to college in the fall, and they're a little panicked because college is $1.2 million per minute, I think is what they're at now. And I mean, my oldest daughter, she did 1 year at University of Toledo, and it was over $20,000 for that. So what do you do to start getting ready for having some sort of payment? Most people can't do cash.
No, you're going to fill out the FAFSA forms, even
So
if
dumb.
well, even if you don't qualify.
Yeah, I know. I hate that form.
They have a new scoring system that is both arbitrary and capricious, it seems, on how they assign your number. And that number that you get, if the greater the negative number, the more financial aid that you could qualify for. And you definitely want to fill those things out. But the earlier you start, the better off you are, even if it's just a little amount of money, because it's the habit of savings that I'm most concerned with rather than the number at first. But if when your kids are young, you could start a 529 plan, I think that's a really good thing to do, mainly because it isn't just used for college anymore. It's used for trade schools. And I think to survive in this economy, you cannot just be a high school graduate. I think that's the kiss of death and the ticket to fast food working for the rest of your life, because there's a lot of job training out there that you could get, that we live in a very specialized economy. And, I just read yesterday that by next year, the company Amazon will have more robots working in their factories than people. And
Wow.
so if you're qualified to unload a truck and to put the box someplace and nothing else, odds are your job is not going to be there. So I think in this economy, you've got to get educated and you've got to stay educated somehow. And that's going to be critical. Now, that doesn't mean college.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I actively discourage my kids unless the thing they want to do, they know they want to do it beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yes.
And it does require college education. You shouldn't go. I mean, if I could do it over again, I think I would really consider a trade.
Well, in all fairness to your kids,
Wait.
well, not just your kids, to
Okay,
all
no,
kids.
I thought I was warming up for something.
I don't want to
Yeah.
pick on your kids, although they are.
There's a lot of
We've
them.
all seen them.
Yeah.
It's going to be a difficult road. But all kids at 18, it's very unrealistic to say, well, what do you want to do with the rest of your life?
Super,
Because
yeah.
I've been trading Pokemon cards and asking my mommy to do my laundry. So that lack of perspective, it's not stupidity, it's a lack of perspective, it's ignorance. And ignorance isn't a bad thing if you know you have it. And so I do think that community college is a great place to start out because it gives you an opportunity to kind of find the things that you like.
Even that's kind of expensive, though.
One of the people that works for me in Lorain County, if you have a 3-point, you go to Lorain Community College for free.
Everyone moved to Lorain County. That's,
free.
I think, the solution. That's a pretty good deal.
It's a
Anything
great
in
deal.
Portage County? Anything in Portage County?
Well, one of the people that works for me, her daughter is going to community college, and she was going for one particular thing, and she said, I realized after taking a couple of classes, I don't like it.
That's
And
just
I don't
it.
want to do that. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want to happen.
That's what was supposed to happen years ago in your undergraduate degree. You kind of figure things out while you're there. Now, again, my daughter thought she was going to be a nurse. And after a year, she's like, boy, I don't think I want to do that.
Yeah.
$20,000, thank you very much.
Well, I thought I might want to be a doctor, and I realized two things.
You have no bedside manner.
Sick people disgust me.
Yeah, there's
I'm like,
that.
You're so gross.
Yeah. Why don't you take care of yourself? What's wrong with you?
There's not enough hand sanitizer or gloves in this hospital. And
This hurts when I do this. Don't do that.
Yeah, stop that. And I wasn't smart enough. I didn't have that scientific bent. I could look at numbers and I could see things like when you talk to a pool champion, like guy shoots pool, he's like, how do you know? He goes, well, I just see the angles. I can see the angles.
I can't see them.
I can see the angles in finance. I've always been able to see the angles in finance, and it seemed like a good spot for me. So I knew in 8th grade, I did a tour of the Federal Reserve Building in Cleveland. And I loved it. I'm like, yeah, I want to be. I
would
want to
have
be
said
around
no
this.
to that. I would have get opt out of that field
Can
trip.
I just play on the playground?
Can I just take a nap?
Play kickball. I went to the.
How old were you?
8th grade.
Wow.
Yeah, and I went to school for economics. I never deviated. I loved it. When I got into my major classes, I was really good at it. So it's economics. People think is the study of money, but it's not really the study of money. It has to do. It's kind of like the psychological study of motivation in money. So why do people do what they do? How do you steer outcomes?
I took 2 economics courses in my undergraduate degree. David.
Macro and micro.
I did, and they were both horrible. I did not enjoy it. Got a really good grade though. Got an A. But
Oh, look at you. You're smart.
I mean, I knew how to take a test, so that I don't remember a thing from micro or macro except
Supply and demand.
and buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
Both of those.
Well, I taught you that.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, supply and demand. I know all about supply and demand. It's very true.
I taught you buy low, sell high.
There was actually one professor who had this, and I think it was microeconomics, had the class read this novel that was like this big. And I did everything I could to not take that class so I wouldn't have to read that book.
So there's a book out by somebody who I think is one of the greatest economic minds, not only of our time, but I think of in history, because he started out thinking one way and totally changed his thinking on money and motivations and just the psychology of money, and that's Thomas Sowell. He just celebrated his 95th birthday, and he has a book called Basic Economics. And you would think this is,
I like
and
the sound
it
of
is
that.
like it's like a Chinese phone book. I mean, it is. If you were too short to drive, this book would really come in handy. You could see over the dashboard.
And for young people listening, a phone book, it was a book they'd pass out for free that had everyone's
Yeah.
name and number in it.
Like they just one day you'd wake up and there'd be a phone book. There'd be a yellow pages and a white pages on your, and we used it. Like, hey, you want to order pizza? Look in the phone book.
Yeah, I
What's the number? Look in the phone book.
remember my wife and I years ago started watching X-Files because we're awesome. And one of the first season, they're like, we got to do some research. We got to find this guy. They go in the room at the FBI that was full of phone books, and they've got their shoulder pads on their sport coats, and they're
Something
thumbing
tells
through
me
phone
that
books.
room still exists at the FBI.
It might.
The phone
It might.
book room. Yeah.
I remember the challenge of figuring out, with the yellow pages, what category is this business? Oh, what category? Because you'd flip and it'd be like, restaurants. Nope, it's not there. Seafood. Oh, let me flip to food. No, see grocer. It would like, did you have that experience? You have to know the right category in the yellow pages.
Well, I'm hesitant to share this story because the person it's about is sitting next to me. So we had a phone book, and he's like, I don't know how this works. I'm like, it's a phone book. Just look up the number. I don't know how to look it up. I don't know where to look. And for somebody born in the technology age, it's true. Why would I use a phone book?
You wouldn't.
You're not going to use a phone book. I mean, people. So I got my first cell phone, I think it was 1995.
It was like a full briefcase.
No, it was a Motorola, the kind that it was a flip open phone, and you would extend the antenna.
Oh yeah, okay. You said
And
95.
Maybe it was 96.
We had a family cell phone in 1996 ish. That was Motorola's gray, and the screen was like on an old school alarm clock.
Yeah, and it was heavy.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you put this thing in the pocket of your jacket, and your jacket would be like all torqued
it was
up.
only for emergencies for me. For you, it was for business, I'm sure.
Yeah, I had 30 minutes a month.
Right.
And
No,
if you-
don't roam.
No. Oh my God.
You don't wanna be
Am
roaming.
I in Rome? I in Rome. We used to call this one guy, we said he was haughty because he'd pick up his voicemail from the office on his cell phone. It's like he's just showing off.
I'm gonna show off.
Showing off. Yeah.
Boy.
But if you were born after 1995, you don't know a world without this. And the first iPhone was out in 2008. And for those kids, for those people, technology is just a way of life. And that's why when you see an old person and they're on their phone and they're doing things with like kind of looking at it like this with one finger, like, yeah.
Your dad does that a lot, doesn't he?
See my mom do it.
Yeah, she's way worse. And she has an advanced degree in technology, and she still is horrible with technology.
I like being next to somebody and you look over and the font is so big, there's like one word on the screen.
And they still have their readers on.
I've got my progressives now, so I can see quite well.
I had one phone, this is before smartphones. It didn't even look like a real phone. It was like this big, and the ring on it, I had turned it to a horse's neigh, and I didn't know how, I forgot how to change it. And so it would flip open and you would talk on it. It looked like you got it out of your kid's Barbie set or something. Hello.
Remember the Razor? It was like,
hello. That was the phone that the iPhone unseated as the most popular phone.
Yeah, I mean, I saw one in '08. I remember, and the guy was like, watch this. And he like pinched and zoomed, and it was like my whole head exploded. I was like, what?
So I was just
I've never seen this.
An article about a very famous musician, and he had a concert, and after the concert, he was sitting like behind the concert venue, and he took his smartphone and he threw it in a river. And he claims that it totally freed his life up because he got a flip phone, there is no such thing as an analog phone anymore, but it would by all appearances be an analog phone.
Yeah, it's dumb. It doesn't do the smart features. Yeah.
And he said, my life is back. And I do think we as a society tend to be like the pendulum. And we swing to one side and we sit there for a while, then we overcorrect to another side. And I have a sense that we're not going to overcorrect on the technology side, but it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing for a little while. When you think about all the things on our phones that we do, plane tickets, directions, texting, social media, all this stuff, it is occupying a lot of our existence.
We don't want to do that. Now,
well, I don't know if we want to do it or not, but I don't know that all of it's healthy.
No, we need more self-control in that area. And speaking of that, before we go today, 'cause it's almost time to wrap up, I have a haircut appointment, David. I really do. I have to get back to Garrettsville.
I believe you. I don't doubt you one bit that you have.
I have to get my military cut before I go back to Fort Benning in Georgia.
Get a high and tight.
I think that's what I do. Isn't it? I'm not a barber.
Well, you're gonna get kind of like a flat top.
Well, that's not that. No, it's not flat top. I used to have a flat top in third grade.
Mm-hmm. And then
pretty stud.
Tight on the sides.
Yeah. Well, nonetheless, we're almost out of time. So here's what I want to do. We're in the midst of summer. We're talking about, you need self-control and such. People want to take their vacation in the summertime.
Mm-hmm. What's
the financial barometer for whether you can go on vacation?
If you can do it without going into debt.
What about a little debt?
If you had a payment plan for it that would not take more than a couple of months.
Like 0 interest, 6 months on the credit card, and you don't like that?
No, I don't mind that 0 interest thing, but you got to be committed to paying that off. And I think the thing to do, so I don't get a lot of kudos when I give advice like this. In fact, I had somebody come into my office and I put them on a budget, and they came back a few months later and said, well, our kids hate you. I said, well, I really care. I don't work for your kids.
Yeah.
I think I might do a staycation this year and then save up for the vacation next year. I don't want to go into debt for temporary things. And I am a firm believer, though, that families need time together away, and that means away from smartphones to some degree. I don't want to make kids hate going on vacation, like, oh, we're not going to be in. So figure out what your baseline of technology is maybe a couple hours a day or something like that. But I think it's important for families to spend time together away from people. And so vacations are very important.
Can you borrow from a HELOC for a vacation?
No, I wouldn't do that. Look, we're
I
trying...
thought you'd be impressed with me just
No,
asking that.
I understand what
No?
you're saying. You're trying to find
Home
a way to
equity
take a
line of credit?
vacation. But I don't want to borrow money for temporary things. I will borrow money for appreciating assets, a house, a Ferrari that does appreciate if it's the right Ferrari and you don't drive it.
Yeah, let me write that down.
Artwork. Think of appreciating assets. How do wealthy people get wealthy and stay wealthy? They spend money wisely. They make sacrifices early so they don't have to make them late, and they understand credit. They use credit in a way that people who are struggling to get by don't understand or aren't going to do. So understanding those things will help you, whether you get wealthy or not. They will definitely help you manage your finances so that it isn't a daily stressful activity that is driving you nuts. So you got to understand those things.
So now, Edgewater Investment Group, people can reach out to you. We don't have to be quite as coy about it now. So do you know your website, or is that someone's chore to know?
I do know it. It's edgewaterig.com.
What is the IG?
Investment Group.
Oh, I should have known that.
Edgewater. And then for the book is sinofretirement.com.
So sinofretirement.com for the book, Sin of Retirement, coming out 2028 in the fall.
No, it's going to be out at the end of the month.
This month.
Yeah, and you can pre-order it right now. We have
Wow.
a lot of pre-orders.
Sinofretirement.com.
Sinofretirement.com.
Lauren and I are probably going to be throwing you a little book release here.
Can we get a cake from Costco
Hey,
for the book release?
Probably. I'll put my picture on it.
Yeah. I had a cake made for my birthday one time, and my wife said, will you just pick it up? I'm like, oh, great, I got to pick up my... So I had him write what I wanted him to write on it. And it was like, you're a man's man. And then I had my son Jake read it theatrically. He was in theater. Women love you. Your buns are tight. Your biceps are huge.
That's great.
I'm like, well, I ordered my...
It's
my
a big
wife had
cake.
me- Yeah.
Just with frosting script like that. That's great.
Yeah, and the lady, as I handed it to her, she says, this is what you want written on your cake. And I said, exactly as I wrote it.
And she did it. So edgewaterig.com. Edgewaterig.com.
Yep.
You can always reach out to us. We'd be glad to connect you to David. Submit your financial questions anytime or schedule an appointment and you can make them with David.
Yeah, we meet with people all the time. There's no cost to meet with us. And one of the things that I did with Moody Radio early on with Dick Lee is I said, look, if I can help somebody, I'm willing to do that. You got to come to me. And but I'll sit down with anybody and talk about your finances, whether you ever invest with us or not. That's not the goal. The goal is to make sure that you get what you need so that you could, at some point in time, have some financial independence. That's what I care about.
Thank you, David Szafranski. I know you've had a lot of fun hanging out with me. So
I have, yes, in this new studio.
let's finish with you're welcome. Any last words, Dave? I'm not going to kill you. I'm just...
No,
you know.
I'm excited for what you guys are doing. It really is going to be awesome. I love it.
Thank you for traveling all the way out here from Michigan,
It's a
wherever you
long
live.
haul, man.
And it's a long way, yeah.
We got a hotel right down the road, so we're...
A couple pit stops and yeah. Thank you, David Szafranski. That does it for today's edition of the Third Place Podcast.